Hey, it's your girl Therese, and I am back and I am better with my first season, fourth episode of the Lames Discussion podcast. And the title is Doubting Your Light, where I'll be discussing three main bullets, which is number one, plan with a balance. Number two, be instead of bondage, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And three, roots and culture. So, number one, plan with balance. The reason why I said that is because a lot of times, especially in this day and age, we are always dealing with different responsibilities and tasks where we're unable to properly focus on what we need to do. And in order to do that, you need to get a specific regimen and routine in order to understand what your pathway is for success. You have to build discipline in order for it to become a habit and to become consistency. And I feel that once you align within yourself, okay, I want to be a full-time entrepreneur. Monday through Friday, I work from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm going to take a 3-hour break in between to run my errands, work out, eat, invest in things that I like to do hobby-wise, and focus between 5 and 9 to take care of my investment into my business. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's very important to have some alignment in what you're doing in order to see a better outcome, because being scatterbrained and not having that order and structure can put you in a loop of what am I doing? What is the cost of this? Am I making the right decision? Am I making the wrong decision? And when you don't understand your direction without guidance and structure and discipline, you're going to be lost and interchanging, where you want to be an astronaut this day, a cater business this day, a police officer this day. You need to understand what works for you. Be specific about it. Be ordered about it in order to see fast changes slowly but surely, because you're staying in your lane. Another example, when you go and get workout powder, right? They have different brands, they have different types, they have different flavors. But if you know, okay, I'm vegan based, I love peanut butter, and I love something smooth and easy digestive. Don't go in GNC every time you go and you change the brand and the type that you are unaccustomed to every single time. Keep that order and that structure. And also, when you elevate yourself with your plan in your life, you're going to see changes within yourself, your surroundings, with people and situation, because everybody is not going to be on the same mental, emotional, and spiritual pathway that you are towards success. And success doesn't always mean career and aspiration. Success can also mean character build, right? And sometimes you have to leave people behind with peace and love, respectfully. You know what I mean? So with that being said, that's what I have to say towards number one. Number two, be instead of bondage, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I wanted to touch on how we're raised all differently in our own set ways. And sometimes we take those morals and principles into our adult life, and that carry on into our workspace, our family space, our mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial space. But if the things that you're implementing in your life didn't work for the previous individual that you're taking the same tradition on with, then you need to invite your own unique pathway into your life. Case in point, relating to number one, you have to get discerned and clairvoyant within yourself and understand how to be free from anything that holds you back, anything that's limited to your growth and development. You have to move in a different energy, a different direction, a different path, because what worked for mom, dad, grandma, great-grandma, grandpa, great-grandpa, cousin, and etc. may not work for you. And you have to understand that, because it also ties into understanding your own authenticity when you understand who you are as an individual. And everybody's not going to understand your vision, and everybody's not going to understand the calling that you have on your life, because it's not for them to understand. It's for them to either support or don't support. There's no in between, because at the end of the day, everybody, personally, in my opinion, I can be biased, I think that everybody is special. I think that everybody has a light. I think that everybody has the worth and value and the opportunity through potential, but you have to be willing to pull that out. You have to be willing to be like, you know what? I'm this, I'm that. Speak life and affirmation and manifestation into yourself. And also to be in other terms of stillness. Whatever direction keeps you grounded, whether it's water, whether it's nature, whether it's stopping and smelling the roses and processing, reflection, however you govern yourself with peace of mind, peace of spirit, peace of heart, you have to keep that ongoing and let that be what helps you resonate to keep you in attainment, to get to your greater goals and goods, right? And you have to separate yourself from entities and energies that don't serve you while you're on a special calling and special duty, right? Being in bondage goes according to being limited, but also limiting yourself. So let's put aside traditions of your upbringing and family and etc. When you limit yourself from growing and aspiring for better, whatever your interest is, that keeps you undeveloped. So for example, let's say you go to your favorite Chinese restaurant and you get your same plain fried 10-piece with white rice, right? But they have other things that pique your interest. But every time you have a slim thought of, oh, I want to try this, that, and the third, and like, nah, I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to stick to that. You'll never know unless you try. You may try their sesame chicken with fried rice with egg, and you very well may fall in love with that, right? Or if you want to try their orange chicken with their lo mein, with a spring roll. I think that there's nothing wrong with inviting versatility in who you are and dismiss limited beliefs as well as limited traditional beliefs based upon how somebody told you to be or how you process your mind to be, given the world we live in. There's a lot of distractions when it comes to what direction you should go in based upon societal expectations and opinion. But what resonates with you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is what matters. Because at the end of the day, when you're laid to rest, what is going to be your legacy that you left behind? Was it authentic? Was it pure? Was it meaningful? Was it purposeful? All these matters and components are important. And I feel that we have to learn how to get back to us. You know what's so funny? Universe willing, I'll be 27 in January. And I feel like we get these pivoted moments within our mental health, these spurts of, reality with different times in our life with transformations and transitions. And it's like, wow, reality hits like, whoa, this is where I'm at now in my life. And I am learning and developing to become my better self in these areas that I lacked when I was younger. But that's the thing. A lot of people tend to say, man, I wish I was here when I was at 21. I wish I was there when I was at 25. But truly, you were exactly where you needed to be. And granted, yeah, we regret and we reflect and we want better for ourselves at the stages of life that we're at. But if I was 21 right now, aspiring to do some of the things that I'm doing now at that age and stage, mentally, emotionally still developing, I would not have been as progressive as I am today. Sometimes we need to learn how to take signs and wonders from things that are helping us with our character instead of being in the past or instead of, deflecting in a negative, passive manner. When life is about teaching, you're the student, life is the teacher. And that's the beauty. It's supposed to be an ongoing journey. There's no such thing as, everything. There's no such thing as this is the final destination, the final answer. That's it. I got my degree. I got my education. I know everything. I'm good. No, you have to constantly be willing to evolve. And again, that includes, like I said, being limited. That includes inviting new traditions, creating your own unique pathway for who you are, and also processing. Once a week for me, I go into deep reflection. That's either on Saturday or that's on Sunday. And I think and I process and I'm like, where am I at in my life? How do I feel about myself, my people, my surrounding, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially? That is very important. And another example, y'all, don't get on me, but I was raised in a traditional household when it came to religious base. And granted, I do appreciate the discipline and structure of Christianity. As I got older, I realized, I'm more in tune with Buddhism as a practice and Pan-Africanism as a practice and Christianity as a practice all together. So instead of devoting myself to solely one, because contrary to probably all religions and spirituality tie into each other in some way, shape, or form. So I told myself, well, let me incorporate all three and embody that based upon each part of my personality, right? Pan-Africanism, I love to be an indigenous woman and I am a huge feminist, especially towards my African descendant culture. Buddhism, because I feel though it's more of a practice with my personality and who I aspire to be to people in this lifetime. And it teaches me peace and serenity within myself, within my spirit, within my personality. Christianity teaches me discipline and structure and taking accountability. I feel like all three of those, for me personally, tie into one. But nevertheless, the point is, number two, discipline yourself with being still and taking the signs and wonders and inviting discernment and clairvoyant in your life in order to have that consistency with structure and discipline. Number two, do not invite traditional matters into your life that limit you in your growth as an individual, especially by American societal ways and standards, because respectfully, it keeps you in bondage. And number three, look in the mirror and determine who you want to be. Do you want to be bohemian? Do you want to be alternative? Do you want to be gothic? Do you want to be country? And so forth. What is your pathway? Who are you? And stick to that. Don't get intimidated when you go out with friends and family and you know that you don't drink and all of a sudden they're throwing you beers and cocktails and etc. and you get home and feel guilty. Well, no, just better next time understand who you are and stick to that. Because that what makes you who you are. Number three, roots and culture. See, this adds to number two, honestly. But we all know that we come from strong roots and backgrounds. For example, my background is Latino and Creole, amongst other things, I'm sure. But understanding the pros and cons of both, I have come to understand that, that's an intense background of nurturement, discernment, clairvoyant, music, art, fashion, etc. And humbly, I am thankful for those qualities, yet I just master them in the ways that I see fit, which is being an empath, being a humanitarian, being a spokesperson, and inviting in my space of exploiting the talents and gifts that I have to help enlighten other people within themselves of the same thing, right? So you have to start inviting into your space who you are and your make. I notice, especially in the African American culture in America, we tend to only celebrate Black history in February or spurt moments of certain festivals that may be going on in your city. And all of a sudden we raising the fist, or when somebody dies from police brutality, that's when we want to get together and have a riot. No, you need to embody your culture and your roots strongly in order to understand your make as well. Because it's not just about how you were raised and who you were raised by. It's about what naturally comes within your personality from your culture, your background, your roots. And that's what we need to do more digging and more research to understand who we are, to get back to things better by and by. Okay, if I know that this is my background and my roots and my culture, let me instill this in who I am. And that will add the cherry on top to me being disciplined with setting in stone the pathway that I want to be on, right? It'll be a form of conditioning, but a healthy conditioning in order to keep you steadfast and focused on the bigger picture here, which is to be in alignment with yourself, to be in alignment with who you are, to be in alignment with your gifts and your talents. Who are you? And don't let anybody take away the sole purpose of your existence. Everybody here in this world has a different purpose. I don't care if it's selling lemonade and you selling lemonade with 10 other neighbors in your neighborhood. But guess what? Your energy, your aura, the type of lemons, the type of sugar, the type of glass, the type of way you decorated the glass, the type of table, the type of colors, all that matters to what makes you unique versus the other people. Everybody has their own way of being and doing, but what makes you who you are, right? So doubting your light has become a very common thing in the world where people are comfortable and complacent in being who they are and where they are at. And we have to unlearn that behavior. We have to unlearn that invitation in our space of, well, if I'm not going to get to my goals and aspirations to chase this bag, I don't care about anything else. What about your hobbies? What about your extracurricular activities? What about who you are as a person? What are the beautiful qualities of yourself other than you give great customer service at your job? You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that is very, very important, y'all. I feel like I'm having a personal conversation. This episode, I definitely am spiked and ready to continue to open up more and more vulnerability wise within myself with things that I'm passionate about. But yes, indeed, I definitely feel strongly, intuitively that everybody, again, has a purpose and everybody is destined for a calling in their life, but you have to pull it out of you. And you have to use strength and resilience in order to do so. So with that being said, I definitely invite that into my space, and it has been working for me, but it's also real out here. Healing is ongoing until you transcend, and it's a new stepping stone. And just discovering more about myself as a woman and as an adult, I'm proud and I pride who I'm becoming, yet it's always room to grow and it's always room to learn. So I hope that you all enjoyed this episode and it resonated with your spirit. Be on the lookout for the next episode. Please like, comment, and share. I love you all. Peace and love.